Hello and welcome to another video here at Stanley Gibbons Baldwin's, and it's the first video we've done in a while, and we're glad to be back, aren't we, Gabriel?
Indeed we are, and it's worth the wait, because today we're introducing you to the upcoming stamps and covers of the world sale, including the Petra Collection of Falkland Islands.
And I know you're going to enjoy this one. The Petra Collection of the Falkland Islands mainly consists of postal history and was put together by a very concerning collector over a long period of time who had a real eye for quality and knew exactly what he was buying. And it's a vast collection covering all parts of the philatelic interest points of the Falkland Islands, starting with the Bornhead bisects of the 1890s.
Into the provisionals and the high values of George V and onwards. There's something for everyone here, including this very special and interesting item, which I'm looking forward to showing you at the end of the video.
We will get to your very important item later, Gabriel, but first we must talk about my favourite lot in the sale. So the first lot in the sale that I'd like to talk about is this rather unassuming cover here, and it is addressed to Uruguay, bearing a pair of the Queen Victoria Bornhead penny brownish claret, but there's also this other little stamp right at the end here, and that particular one does seem a bit odd. It's almost like someone sliced it in half, perhaps even
bisected?
That's the word, bisected. Bisected effectively means that a stamp or a coin in many respects has been cut into half, and the idea being that if it's been cut in half, it therefore is half the value. Of course, there were no halfpenny stamps at the time. They only had pennies and fourpennies. And of course, the shipment for the halfpenny stamps sank along the way to the Falkland Islands, and so they had to wait a bit longer for Bradbury Wilkinson to print those stamps, and therefore at the moment we just have to make do with these provisional bisects. And these on cover are quite rare, and unfortunately they have been heavily forged as well, because it doesn't take a genius to cut a stamp in half. And so whenever buying something like these, and they can go for a lot of money, always make sure to get those reliable guarantees from third parties or indeed the auction house and stamp dealership who are selling them. This item here is, to me, it's just overall evocative of the Falkland Islands in this early period. These stamps were very brand new. They only got stamps in the 1870s, and then from sort of humble beginnings, they became some of the most beautiful and attractive of the whole British Commonwealth. And it's nice to see that it all started here with something like this. So which lot do you want to kick off with, Gabriel, from the Petra sale?
I've got this very special one for you today. So it is F1 we all know and love, the 1933 centenary set, and we have the part set all the way up to the 5 shillings used on 4 registered covers to Edinburgh. You know, it's an especially tricky set to find in fine used condition, especially so with lovely South Georgia councils.
Yes, and South Georgia being one of the dependencies of the Falkland Islands, didn't necessarily see much commercial traffic, so the stamp collectors were really good at keeping that post office occupied all those years, and even now they still produce stamps.
So that was my favourite South Georgia item. Now, Oscar, do you want to show them your favourite?
Yes, we have a few South Georgia items here, and as such was the philatelic interest in South Georgia that it kept the post office busy for many years. Now, this particular one here is from the German 1911 Polar Expedition, which was, of course, of a big expedition that went down into the South Atlantic, and of course it landed in South Georgia there. And this is a picture postcard depicting the ship which took them on the journey all the way down to South Georgia, and it also bears this commemorative label, and then cancelled by the commemorative cachet that they produced as well. But of course then actually, of course, the label has no franking ability, and to send it on to Berlin, where this postcard is addressed, they had to go into the South Georgia post office and purchase a Edward VII penny here, and it's got a lovely cancel here of South Georgia. And it's a rather sweet little item here. There's not much about to say about it, but they are very scarce, and they're always ones that I enjoy seeing whenever I see these in collections or in auction catalogues about the Falkland Islands, and you know, I just think it's a very nice little item. We briefly move away now from South Georgia to talk about another little place within the Falkland Islands, another little post office, and this particular one has a really rather fun little name.
Indeed, whilst your gentleman was spending a penny, mine was spending 5 shillings. It vastly overpaid the rate. Of course, this is a philatelic cover sent to Mr. Wilson, and these are quite fun covers, because what he would have had to done, he'd had to buy the stamps, he'd get them sent all the way over, and then send them back for use, because Falkland Islands would not cancel stamps to order. And it's quite tricky to find them this fine used. Lovely clean cover, and used in Fox Bay no less. A very, very attractive item.
And many ways in which you could only get stamps cancelled in these very difficult post offices was to send something out there and get it sent back to you, which is great fun to do, but when you have to do it commercially, I'm sure Mr. Wilson had to spend quite a lot of money to do all that.
And moving back to your regularly scheduled South Georgia broadcast, Oscar, what do you have?
Well, live from South Georgia in 1919, we ran out of twopenny halfpenny stamps, and therefore the tuppence had to be surcharged provisionally once again. These are commonly known as the South Georgia provisionals, with a 2 halfpenny hand stamp that bore across the stamps. There aren't many of these out there, they're quite scarce, and to get them correctly used is very scarce indeed. You know, if you ever see these commercially used rather than this wonderful philatelic usage, they are howling rarities, and often you see them on whaling mail addressed to Norway. This particular example is a philatelic use, but it doesn't degrade it in any way. It's just a lovely conditioned item to have, and then you get 2 for the price of 1 in a sense, because you have to buy the whole cover to be able to get 2 of these.
And of course, due to the nature of them, forgeries do exist, and that's why this item thankfully comes with a BPA certificate to ensure its genuineness.
Indeed. And now we have saved, well, possibly saved, the best item to last.
Well, certainly my favourite.
It's certainly your favourite. Now, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. And it's sort of 3-parter we have here. So firstly, we have an invoice to the GPO in the Falkland Islands. Secondly, we have this sheet of 1 shilling stamps, and you may notice the missing stamp in the top left corner.
Well, what have you done with that one?
Well, it makes you wonder, and if you look at this cover, it may answer your questions. And the person that packed this order used it on the cover to send it.
What a travesty, but also what a fascinating story to the fact that these 2 items, whilst technically have been separated, have been together ever since, as this particular cover was sent with this inside it, but of course 1 stamp taken off to use it.
And of course, this printing is rather scarce in itself. Only 238 sheets were printed, and it's a miraculous usage too, a rather early one at that, and I think it belongs in any Falkland Island collector's collection.
So this is just a small snippet of what is upcoming in our stamps and covers of the world sale, including the Petra Collection of the Falkland Islands. Now, we're expecting a lot of interest in the sale. Now, Gabriel, how can the viewers at home get involved with the sale and register their interest?
So if you're interested, please check out sgbaldwins.com to have a look at the whole sale and register your interest there. But please remember, it's not just a Falkland Islands sale. There's items from all around the world, so no matter what you collect, there will be something for you.
Indeed there will be. Now, and as always, please like and subscribe for more Stanley Gibbons content.